Hey everyone, it's Seasons of Hustle Bootcamp Day 25. We are continuing our journey through the ranks, and tonight we're exploring the growth between executive and silver. So congratulations on those of you who have achieved executive and those of you who are charging forward to claim the rank of silver. This is a journey that can be marathon. So the steep climb from executive to silver, for some people it seems really steep, and it seems like, okay, I have 4,000 OGV, I have to have 10,000. That seems like that can be a lot. So we're going to debunk a lot of that stuff tonight. We're going to go through the tips and tricks to get you there, and we're going to be celebrating you as silver very soon. So let's talk about what the silver rank actually needs to be achieved. So you need 10,000 OGV, which is your organizational group volume, which is you and everyone in your organization. All of that counts towards your OGV. You also have to have 2 legs, so that's 2 people that you've enrolled that are growing and sharing that have at least 4,000 OGV in their organization, so from them down. Now at silver, you're going to see a new level come up on that compensation plan called PGV. That's personal generation volume. So I will tell you, the generations part of the compensation plan is probably one of the parts of the compensation plan that's the most difficult to memorize and understand. So we're not going to go really in depth with generations, other than knowing that at silver you need to have 1,000 OGV outside of your 2 legs that are qualifying you at silver. So what this tells you is don't put all your eggs in those 2 baskets. You need to be growing other legs as well and have orders outside of those 2 legs that are growing to become executives themselves. Silver is a life-changing rank in this company. So silver average income is around $2,000 on the income disclosure statement. I know many silvers personally that their average income is $2,500 to $3,000 a month. So that can do a ton for your family. That can pay a house payment. That can pay a car payment. For me, it replaced my income when I was working full time. So that silver rank and earning that income residually every month and being a silver every month is really where we see a lot of life change happen for our people. And so any leader you ask in Young Living, that is our goal, is to get you guys to silver. We want to see you achieve that greatness. We want to see you have that financial stability and that blessing. Whether you decide to go further or not, that's totally up to you, but we want you to at least see that blessing. So that's why so many leaders focus on silver boot camps and trying to get people to silver, because it really does so much for a person financially when they can hit silver. So it's a blessing that we want to pass forward and we want to see you all achieve. So I don't want you to look at that difference between executive and silver and be scared of it, okay? Because it can totally happen. There are so many people who hit silver every month in Young Living. Silver Retreat has grown so much. There's so many new silvers. This past year at convention, the silvers took up the entire time that they had scheduled trying to do silver, gold, and platinum recognition, because there were so many silvers. And we know not everybody goes to convention. So that's just with the people that was there. So it is an amazing thing to hit. We want to see you get there. So what do you have to do to get there? We want you to keep being consistent, especially with using your products. So you have to be using your products consistently, getting new stories to share new stories, right? So be consistent not only with your products, but the other things that we've talked about, your income producing activities. So you're still enrolling people. You are still getting people on essential rewards, and you're teaching others to share. And at this point, we're going to have a few leadership skills as well, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But being consistent with those things that we've talked about all the way through boot camp, keeping your calendar full with classes, things like that, that is never going to change. You're going to keep that up. So at this point in your journey, and being consistent with the products, I want you to tap into some of those emotional oils, because there's a lot of emotional change that comes as you're learning to be a leader. So if you are using the emotional oils daily, That's going to really help you process all the personal growth and development and all the things that are happening to you on your end, learning all these skills and dealing with a downline and being a leader and getting asked leadership questions. It's really going to help you if you can focus on at least using one emotional oil per day for yourself. So that's an inside tip from me, just from my experience on the journey. So keep holding your classes, keep doing one-on-ones, and yes, we are going to have some no-shows. We've talked about that in boot camp. So if you've had a couple of those at this point in your journey, good for you. You are a true leader now if you have had a no-show class, because it happens to all of us. And keep on keeping on. Every no gets you closer to the next yes. And that next yes could be your next silver, your next gold, your next platinum, your next diamond, your next Royal Crown diamond. So just don't stop. Be consistent. Enroll, get people in Essential Rewards, get people sharing. Be real and relatable on social media. Keep that steady pace going, sharing your lifestyle, with 1 out of every 5 to 10 posts being something oily, but not a graphic. We've talked about this. It needs to be a personal picture. So at this point, we're going to talk about duplication. So being duplicatable is something that you want to do your entire way through your leadership journey. So by ordering new products that are new to you every month and duplicating that every month and showing that to your team, by showing them your Essential Rewards orders and tell them what you're trying for the first time, they should be duplicating that at this point. So you're leading not only by example, but you're also learning from your own benefit too, because you're trying those new products, getting new information, getting new stories out there. So that is the one thing that we have really talked about in boot camp is facts tell, stories sell. So you have to keep experiencing those new products to have new stories. So start trying some off-the-wall things. Start researching a little bit deeper into some of the supplements and some of the other product lines that we have. So at this point, the investment that you're going to make into your business and into your product knowledge, we have some tips for that as well. So be sure that you are attending events, just like we've talked about with the other ranks. So if your upline's hosting events, if there's rallies, convention, you should absolutely be going to convention at this point, especially if you achieve silver within the time that you're going to be recognized at convention. That is huge. You do not want to miss that. You get a beautiful trophy. You get to walk the stage. It's different every year, but there's always perks and things that you will want to go to. So do not miss the convention where you qualify as a silver. So at this point, I want you to really start digging into the product collections that Young Living has, because there's a lot of collections that people don't even realize is out there. So we've got the Raindrop Kit, we've got the Oils of Scripture Kit, we have the Active and Fit Kit, we have the Essence of the Season Kit, the Feelings Kit, the Infused 7 Kit, the Reconnect Kit, the Thieves Home Cleaning Kit, and the Vitality Culinary Kit. And then there's one other kit that we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. So those collections are cost savings. And when you can get people just to buy one product that has multiple things in it for a purpose, then that gets their collection built up faster. They learn on that specific topic, and it really creates momentum in your business. And at this point, people on your team are starting to get Essential Rewards points. So they can even use their Essential Rewards points to cash in on some of these collections and do trainings, do classes on these collections. The Golden Touch Kit is another one that, especially in the fall and winter, you need to be teaching that kit. We talked about that earlier in boot camp, but that is one that can change the way your new members order right after they get their kit. So there's a couple books I want to talk to you guys about tonight. I'm just going to be honest with you. If you have not read this book yet at this point in your journey, there is no excuse anymore. It is the next book that you are going to read. Okay, this is the D. Gary Young book. It's the World Leader of Essential Oils. And I actually got the privilege of meeting Gary and Mary my first convention. So my copy is actually signed by Gary and Mary both. And so at that point, who knew what was going to happen in the near future? And so this is one I hold dearly and reference and read a lot. So you need to know the story. You need to know why Young Living is what it is. You need to know Gary Young's heart. You need to know his passion. You need to know his voice. You need to listen to the trainings that we have recorded that are by him. You need to be able to answer those questions about seed to seal and know those things. And knowing the rich history of our company can really, really motivate you to keep moving forward on those days where it can get kind of tough from time to time. Okay, this isn't happy all day, every day, 24/7, 365. There are days you don't believe in yourself, or you get frustrated, or somebody tells you no, or drama happens. It happens, okay? We're going to move past it. We're going to learn from it, and we are going to be better on the other side of it. That's part of this personal growth development journey that we are on. But there's no excuse at this point in your journey not to know the story and not to have read this book, okay? So that if that is not something that you have, you can actually order that from the virtual office. You can get a single copy, a 5-pack, or a 10-pack. So something I would really encourage you to do with your teams is to take this book, order a 10-pack, split it up, and do a book study, or do some type of online event or a Zoom call where you guys are going through this book together. So you're invested in the history, you're invested in the story, you're invested in learning why our company is what it is, and what do you think that's going to do for your downline? What lessons do you think they are going to learn from hearing the story from D. Gary Young? Okay, this is powerful, powerful, powerful. I would highly recommend, if you don't have it, to order the commemorative collection that also comes with Journey On, which is an exclusive oil blend that we may or may not always be able to get. And that is an oil blend that was created by Gary. They re-released that this year at convention. And so that's a really special blend to have. And it's a really great value to get that commemorative collection. So if you just search commemorative collection in the virtual office, you'll be able to find that pretty quickly. There's a couple other books I want to talk to you about as resources. The first two are called The Go-Giver and The Go-Giver Sells More. So these are books you can get on Amazon. There's an entire list of recommended resources in this section of the Seasons of Hustle book, but those are two that really kind of changed my perspective at this point in my journey. So that's why I recommend those personally. They were gifted to me from my upline. And so if you read that and you're like, okay, this person in my downline really needs to read this, gift them a copy. It's great to give resources like that to people if they are willing to read it. So if I send this to you, will you read it? And can we talk about it? So use that if I will you verbiage. The other thing that I think is a really great investment for your product knowledge at this point, and I will tell you by the look of this book, I was intimidated. I was like, oh, that's a thick book, and I do not know if I'm going to get all up in that. So it sat on my shelf for 2 years. Okay, truth bomb. Okay, so this is the Essential Oil Integrative Medical Guide. This is written by Gary Young as well. And so I assumed because it was integrative medical, it was going to be really complex and really, really hard to understand. But it's really not. And what I love about it is there is tons and tons of recipes in here. And so if you go through this, and it's kind of like the desk reference or a pocket reference, and you go through the index, there are some amazing, amazing resources. So this is one that I reference just as much, if not more now, than my desk reference. But I was intimidated by it for 2 years. So don't make that mistake. Be sure and grab this one. It is one that you will be glad that you have sitting on your shelf when the time is needed, when you need to look something up and you're like, oh, I'm really not for sure what to do. Let me look at this book. So this is one that is a great, great investment to have on your shelf of resources. So I hope you've organized your resources at this point and you have all of your books in one place. Go buy a cheap bookshelf from Walmart or Amazon. They've got them for 20 or 30 bucks. Keep them organized where you can get to them, because that's going to make you be quicker response and more organized with your other time if you're not running through the house searching for your resources. I also think at this point you need to be using oily tools and you need to be using Project Broadcast. So I know a lot of people are kind of fearful of Project Broadcast because it's something new, but learning it between the journey of executive to silver, or even if you do it before then, you want to master that and know what you're doing before you are a silver leader where your team's like, oh my gosh, she's a silver, and they think you know everything at silver, okay? Even though you were executive a couple days before, when you hit silver, you are this magical unicorn that all of a sudden knows more. Okay, it's amazing how that happens, but you will start getting asked questions and more things are going to be coming out. So you will want to know how to use this to be able to communicate with your team well and get them used to receiving text messages from you in that way. And so there's tons of trainings in Project Broadcast on Facebook, YouTube, you name it, but there is no excuse not to learn it. This is where I really think the faces of our businesses are going with that personal touch, with all the changes to social media and algorithms and groups and all the different things. You really, really, really need to take the investment and learn it. It's not expensive to use. So it is definitely a good investment for your business. Sorry. Okay, so at this point, you're going to be training your team as well. So you're finding resources, you are learning how to use them yourself. So the best resource you can be is teaching your team how to use those resources. So when I discovered this book, I did a Facebook Live and told my team, oh my gosh, this is on my shelf for 2 years. I cannot believe I let this do this. And I shared with them a couple things out of it that I was really mind blown by and teach them how to use it and how not to be afraid of it. So I have an idea for you guys to implement, and I think you're really going to love it. So I think that this will change the face of how you train your team and how you become more comfortable with it. So how about implementing Systems Saturday, where once a month on a Saturday, whether it's Zoom or in person, you train on a system that you are using and you want your team to know and to use as well. Because, for example, with Project Broadcast, if you set up a campaign, you can share that bundle code and the leaders on your team can send that same campaign, but it's coming from them. So their people are hearing from them. So there's ways to work smarter, but not harder, okay? So here's just a list of ideas of all the different systems that you can train on. Oily tools, oily trends, Project Broadcast, virtual office. Do you know how many people actually don't know how to use our virtual office? Sway is a really new thing that is really getting lots of momentum in our community with sharing Young Living, and there's an entire Facebook group with that as well. So teaching your team what it is, how to use it when you send it to them. It's going to be a really face-changing way to share information with our people because you can use little links and text them through Project Broadcast. Canva, which is how you make graphics, or WordSwag. So have a graphics creating system Saturday. Boomerang or simple photography. So Boomerang is a fun app that's free. Show people how to get just a white poster board, set a few things on it, get next to a window, take some simple pictures. We don't all have to be amazing photographers to get really great images if we're needing images for something. Whatever you're doing for follow-up, train that system with your team on System Saturdays. And then units is something in Facebook groups that is really instrumental in keeping people on track. If you've noticed, in our Seasons of Hustle community group, we have created Bootcamp in units. So you can track where you are in Bootcamp so you know you're not missing anything. So these are just a small list of ideas, and I could go on and on at all the things you can train your team on. But think how powerful that would be if they knew on the second Saturday of every month, it was System Saturday, and this is what we did. That's going to be instrumental, and your people are going to be learning by example. You're going to be doing it with them. You're going to know they know how to do it, and then they're going to train their teams or bring their teams to System Saturdays. So if you have teams that are not local, you can even still get together, but do the training on Zoom as well so they can see what's happening with you. So I hope you guys really like that idea, and once you implement that, I would love to hear your results of how your teams are liking System Saturdays. So investing in our product is something that we always encourage at this point in your journey. And so I have a product suggestion, but before I go into that, I want to tell you that you need to be wearing your oily swag. Okay? So I wear oily shirts. a lot because I've been on a lot of trips and I've picked up a lot throughout my 5 years. So I have jackets, I have beanies, I have all the stuff. So go to younglivinggear.com, grab some swag. You will be surprised at how many conversations with strangers start. I've even had cashiers of places that actually have oils in their store say, "You sell the good oils, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Can I have your phone number?" I'm like, "Absolutely. Let me grab yours too." I was like, "Text me when you're off work." And they're like, "Okay." And I was like, "Don't buy these." She's like, "No kidding." Like, it's amazing the conversations that happen. Or if you're walking through a store and your shirt says "Got Ninja," somebody will say, "Well, what's that?" "That's the best decision you've ever made in your life. Do you want to hear about it?" "Oh my gosh, it's an amazing antioxidant drink that has changed my life." Conversation starter. Another conversation starter is, do you have empty bottles at this point? I bet you do. So do not throw your empty bottles away. One of my favorite new ways to display those, I have a basket that I fill up with all my empties, and when the basket is full, there are empty lamp bases that you can get at Target that you can fill. And so I actually have 2 lamps that are filled with the empties. And so my lamps on each side of my couch are full of empty oil containers. So that really is a good conversation starter. People are like, "Have you used all those? How long did it take you to use all those?" And so it's just interesting conversation for people that you have coming over that maybe you aren't necessarily sharing one-on-one with. It makes them kind of ask you about it first. Okay, so y'all are going to think maybe that I'm a little bit crazy when I tell you this. But the product that I'm going to tell you to buy at this point in your journey is the Premier Aroma Collection. Okay, am I getting any of these faces? Okay, I know this is $2,162 in product. But let me break down for you why you need it and why it's a good investment in your business. So when you order this on Essential Rewards, if you were at 20%, you're going to get 432 Essential Rewards points back. A lot of us that are on the journey between Executive and Silver may be earning 25%. So let me just give you that number. 25% back of a Premier Aroma Collection is $540.50 back. Plus, you're going to get the full promo from Young Living because you spent $300 PV, which that value, depending on the month, can be up to $250. So take that $21.62 minus that $540.50 if you're on ER at 25% that you're getting back. You're really only investing $1,621.50. And you're getting 120 oils in a beautiful carrying case. That's $13.52 a bottle. Okay, now I will tell you the Premier Aroma Collections that I've probably gotten 7 throughout my journey so far. And every one of them has had well over $3,000 worth of product in them. So this is a way for you to get a huge boost in your collection, to be able to teach on so many more things, to have so many more stories. We break it down more in depth in this chapter in the book as well, but it is really a time that you want to invest in this. So make it a planned investment. So tax return time, if you get a tax return, invest that back into your business. And look at all the tax deductions that you can take off there. Dee Dee Stone does, she has a tax book for Young Living people and what you can write off and all of that. So if you're tracking that stuff and doing that well, and you're using part of this for that, it is really, really, really a crucial, important investment in your business. And you want people on your team who will buy the Premier Aroma Collection, right? So guess what? You have to lead by example and buy it yourself. Then when you get it in, be like, guess what? You know, I've seen people get it for Christmas, anniversaries, different holidays that they celebrate. So think about it. Think about the investment, break down the numbers. If you have to save for it for a few months, that's totally okay. But sometime on your journey to silver, you need to be investing in this collection. Okay, so we talked a little bit about Elite Express yesterday. Once you hit executive, that starts your chase for silver in 4. So not everybody will hit silver in 4 months, and that's totally okay. This does not have to be a quick race. Like we said, it's a marathon, but for those of you who really want to go for it and your teams have tons of momentum and it's going anyway, it is a great incentive from Young Living. So you will get reward points to spend through that website, as well as essential rewards points. So be sure and check out that section of the virtual office and to get all the details on that. Okay, so what's the bottom line to get from executive to silver? Leaders, learn how to identify and invest in a true leader. Do not keep pouring into those who talk but don't actually do it. So a lot of people move their lips, but they don't move their feet. You want to build leaders and not followers. You don't want them just to follow what you do and never do it themselves. You can hit silver by doing things yourself, but you will not hit gold and up if you do not have leaders. You have to have leaders under you who are involved. Pour into them and encourage them. Teach for your people, absolutely. Do that rule of 3 that we've talked about. Have events where they can invite their interested folks and family too, but don't be the only one teaching classes. Or if you have people that are coming to your classes and they never bring someone, say the next time you invite them, say, I would love to have you, but I need you to bring X number of people. If there's somebody who says they're doing this thing and they're really not, it's okay to put some of those boundaries in place. Pass along information from your upline to your team. So if you see incentives or information that they are announcing that you want your team to be a part of, be sure they know about it. That's where Project Broadcast comes in handy. The more you separate yourself from your upline, the more things stop with you. So they lose that communication travel if you're not doing that. So being really invested in your upline's groups and in that communication is really going to make you have a strong team. For yourself personally, there is no excuses. At this point, personal development is crucial. You cannot afford not to do it. You're going to have to dig in. You're going to have to do some things on personal development. Be involved in whatever you can. Read the books we suggest. They are ideal for your growth and the growth of your teams. So if you don't love reading, listen to them on audio. Find a way to make it work for you, whether it's a page or 2 at a time. Get your spouse involved. Read together. Whatever it takes for you to do it. If creating a book club with your team is what makes you read, do it. Attend convention, retreats, larger training events, and lead the way by continuing to learn. Be teachable. So it's really hard to be a leader if the people that are asking you questions won't let you teach them what they're actually asking. So I have a lot of people who will say, well, I really want help with this. And then when I say, okay, this is the skills you would need to do to fix that. Oh, but I just don't know if I can. Okay, so you have to try. You have to be willing to try. So you need to be teachable yourself and coachable, and then that will make your people be teachable and coachable. Don't just tell your team what to do. You need to model it, and you need to be doing it too. Model for your group the ability to change, to be positive, to be a team, and to speak life into their business, into their personal life, into themselves. Believe in them and believe in yourself. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that somehow at this point you are just going to coast to silver and coast to gold and beyond. You are not over the hill yet. We're still pushing a car up the hill, and we are not at that coasting level. Momentum has begun, but if you stop now, you've quit just short of incredible duplication and residual income. Are you over helping your team? Does it get hard at some point? If you've invested a lot in someone and they simply won't put in the energy to grow, don't keep beating your head against a brick wall. Love them and be available, but take your time and energy elsewhere. It's okay. Invest in anyone who is willing to hustle, no matter how new, no matter what level, and do not put all your eggs in those 2 baskets that we talked about at the beginning of this video. Never, never, ever stop enrolling. Never stop focusing on income producing activities. This duplicates to your team as well. So one thing I want you to remember is that hitting silver is going to be a huge shift. It's going to be a huge life change. But when you maintain it for 3 months, an even bigger change happens because you earn your first retreat with the company, your first completely paid for trip from Young Living. Now that is life changing. That trip that you go on, the information you get from corporate, the tours that you get, typically Silver Retreat is held in Salt Lake City, Utah, at the Mona, Utah farm. And so there is so many fewer people there based on convention. It's like 10% of the people at convention. So you're actually able to see more in the distilleries. They do trainings, the swag, amazing swag on retreats, let me just say. You will also have the opportunity to pay a fee to have someone go with you. I highly recommend finding someone to go with you and doing that, whether it's your spouse to get them on board. I will tell you, my spouse really wasn't on board until we went on the Global Leadership Cruise in 2017. It took him being there and seeing other men and seeing things firsthand himself to really be like, okay, I'm totally in this thing. So work towards silver, work towards earning Silver Retreat. Don't put all your eggs in those 2 baskets and keep on keeping on. You can do this. Tomorrow we will look at the journey from silver to gold. So I will see you then.